Trump revives Mexico City policy and enforcement of Hyde Amendment in boon for anti-abortion advocates. In a pair of executive actions Friday, President Donald Trump revived the so-called Mexico City policy banning U.S. government funding for foreign nonprofits that perform or promote abortions. And he reinstituted enforcement of the Hyde Amendment, which imposes similar restrictions on groups within the U.S. Originally put in place in 1985, the Mexico City policy has been enforced off and on since it first took effect. Democratic administrations have traditionally rescinded the policy, while Republican administrations have reinstated it. Trump himself previously reinstated it in 2017, while former President Joe Biden rescinded it, along with the Hyde Amendment, after taking office in 2021. Trump's abortion moves. The two actions are just the latest in a slew of anti-abortion steps Trump has taken since returning to office earlier this week. In a pre-recorded video message played at the March for Life in Washington, D.C., on Friday, he touted 2022's Dobbs decision, in which Supreme Court justices he appointed overturned Roe v. Wade. He also repeated a widely debunked claim that Democrats have sought to allow abortion after birth. And on Thursday, he announced he was pardoning 23 anti-abortion activists charged under Biden's administration, telling reporters gathered in the Oval Office the activists should not have been prosecuted in the first place. The activists have been charged under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which makes it a federal crime to use threats of force, obstruction or inflict property damage intended to interfere with reproductive health care services. Trump takes politics to disaster zones during North Carolina and California visits. President Donald Trump suggested he might eliminate the Federal Emergency Management Agency on Friday during a trip to tour damage from Hurricane Helene flooding in North Carolina. This is probably one of the best examples of it not working, Trump told reporters of FEMA's efforts in North Carolina, where he sought to contrast his leadership with what he said was Democrats' mismanagement. He then said he may soon abolish the agency and instead send money directly to states to manage their own disaster relief efforts. Trump has repeatedly made false or misleading statements about FEMA's hurricane response. He also said he was tapping a political ally, Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley, who is from North Carolina, to lead the state's recovery effort along with Democratic Governor Josh Stein. Threats to the Golden State. Trump's North Carolina trip came on the same day he traveled to California, which he suggested might only receive more federal aid for the wildfires that have ravaged the Los Angeles area if the state meets his demands. Trump said he wants California to pass voter ID laws and for water to be released, echoing his previous claim that hydrants that ran dry during the wildfires in Pacific Palisades were due to the state's management of water policy in Northern California, which experts have said is not the case. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting. But I just want voter ID as a start. And I want the water to be released. And they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Trump told reporters while he was in North Carolina. Several Republicans who won close House races in California have pushed back, including Representative Young Kim, who represents a battleground district in Orange County. We cannot play politics with Americans' livelihoods, Kim said Thursday on X, tracking Trump's executive actions, where things stand entering the weekend. President Donald Trump's second term is off and running with a cascade of executive actions signed in his first week and more promised in the days and weeks to come. Trump has vowed to enact a sweeping agenda and reshape the federal government, saying in his inaugural address that the golden age of America was starting and naming priorities such as immigration, trade and national security.